Welcome back, everyone. I'm Aric from Aric, and today, as you can see, we're going to be checking out the new set Eevee Heroes. This thing just got revealed in full for Japan, outside of secret rares and all that good stuff. But yeah, the set's based around all of the Eeveelutions. We have a Pokemon V counterpart for every single Eeveelution, so I definitely expect these to be some of the more collectible cards we've seen from the Sword and Shield era so far. But it does remain to be seen how we are actually going to get these cards. As you can see, PokeBeach is kind of speculating we could get them in the Evolving Sky set, in the summer. Definitely seems like a decent guess. But this set is also kind of gimmicky as well. So these are definitely the sorts of cards that would I could also see getting funneled into like a mini set, or maybe being released in a variety of box products. It's really sort of up in the air when we're going to get these. It's not going to be for quite some time, but it's still nice to take a look at these cards and just kind of speculate how these might do in the future whenever they get released. So yeah, my more concise, full in-depth thoughts will definitely come in the inevitable set review that these get put into, but still want to give you my knee-jerk reactions to these cards. So yeah, let's hop in. And before we start scrolling, if you guys can't, remember to smack that like button. It genuinely does help get this video seen by more people, especially since I've been kind of on a little bit of a hiatus. YouTube is punishing me a little bit in the algorithm for not uploading as frequently, so it genuinely does help, guys. But let's hop in and see what these new Eevee cards are going to look like. Alright guys, so up first we have a new Pinsir card. This is going to be a single strike one. Has the ability, as long as this Pokemon is in play, damage done by the attacks of your single strike Pokemon isn't affected by resistance on your opponent's active. So, I mean, nothing too special, just to be honest, but I mean, there are like random weird scenarios where this could be good. We had a stadium in the past called Magnetic Storm that did something very similar to this, which did see some degree of play in, a couple of random fighting decks. Back when that card was illegal. So, I mean, we could definitely see something like that for Pinsir as well here. I mean, it really just depends. What are the single strike Pokemon in the format, and are there any popular decks that the resistance throws off their math for? I mean, and that's really how you'll decide if you're going to play Pinsir, because this is a very easily teched in card to your list if you do want to play it. So nothing groundbreaking, but again, Pinsir is definitely an easy option to help remedy that. Next up, right away, we have actually my favorite Eeveelution, which is kind of a random one. I feel like a lot of people share this sentiment, but we have Leafeon V and Vmax. So Leafeon V looking very gorgeous here. Love this artwork. But has an ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a grass energy, attach it to one of your Pokemon. If you use this ability, your turn ends. Okay, that's actually pretty good, I do have to say. Then 90, flip coin of heads, does 150. Okay, so the attack not too good. But this ability generally isn't too bad. This is kind of like a pseudo Intrepid Sword. I mean, just think of all the times you use Intrepid Sword and you just feel like you can't lose if you hit energy sometimes, Leafeon actually genuinely seems okay, especially because you don't have to attach the energy to Leafeon, which is cool. So that means you could definitely play this with other things. So what would we want to accelerate the energy to? Maybe like a Vmax that uses like 2 attachments, kind of in the same way that Dragapult does. Because otherwise you would be forced to play something like Rillaboom or like Cherim and energy switches or something like that. So I'm sure there's colorless Pokemon this could apply to. This is one of those cards where I really would want to kind of comb through the card pool a bit if I was doing like a full set review to see all of the partners for this. Right now, I'm kind of blanking on like an ideal partner for this Leafeon, but I think its ability is actually pretty sick, so I do like this. And of course, we have a Leafeon Vmax. So Leafeon 310 HP, fire weakness to retreat, 60 for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Okay, so that's actually not too bad. And then max sleep 170, heal 30 from this Pokemon. Okay, so I think this second attack is fine. Like, get 2 shots everything, so I mean, that's really all you can ask for. You can't one-shot 2 prize Pokemon. That's like the one thing I don't like. I really wish this was like 180, though that's an easy thing you could, change with a Vitality Band or whatever, just because 180 would allow you to knock out Dedenne, Crobat, and Eldegoss. So this is not a great Pokemon at getting cheap prizes, so I don't like this. I really do wish this was 180. But Grass Knot is actually kind of a cool attack. 60 modifier is pretty decent. So if we look back, we have things like my Milotic V, and of course, going back to my Personal favorite, Tangrowth, back from Cosmic Eclipse. Both these cards have very similar attacks as Leafeon. And we still have Galar Mine in the format. So that's one of those cards that can really help a card like Leafeon. So if your opponent has, let's just say, a 2 retreat cost, I think that's an average retreat cost to assume our opponent has. That's 120, plus a Galar Mine in play is going to bump that up to 240. So that's not too bad. Now, the issue is that we are in somewhat of a VMAX heavy metagame right now. And the reason I say it's an issue is because if we were in just kind of a tag team, big basic format, Absol would still help. And I think you would still play Absol, assuming Absol is legal. We should point that out by the time this Leafeon is legal for play. Because Absol's ability is really good, increases their retreat cost, but it only works for basic Pokemon. So we'll have to see, you know, when this card drops. That could definitely impact what metagame it walks into, what card pool it comes into. But I think this attack is decent, just not amazing. Okay, we have a Leafeon. Leafeon usually never gets good cards, so I don't have too much hope. Oh, and this artwork's actually kind of heartwarming. That's pretty sweet. But let's see. Heal Loop, heal all damage from each of your bench Pokemon, then shuffle this Pokemon, all cards attached to it, back into your deck. Not good. It's a stage 2, and you have to attack for 2 energy. You can't play twin energy. You can, but more than likely, your Pokemon that are taking damage and not being one-shot are going to be VMAXs. So if you're playing VMAXs, you're not playing twin energy already. You would need some deck that accelerates energy that can power this guy up in 1 turn, ideally. Yeah, this card seems pretty bad. Okay, we have Eldegoss. Okay, and I do remember this card. This is one of the early reveals from the set. But it has an ability, you can search your deck for 2 basic energy cards each turn. So that's pretty nifty. Of course, that could search out some fire energies to weld her down or something like that. Though more than likely that would not be the actual use for this card. There is a Smeargle, I believe, in the same set that does something with energies in your hand. So we'll eventually get to that card as well. But I imagine that's what you would play this with. I don't think otherwise you would play this with any decks that exist right now, just because this is a stage 1. I mean, if this was a coming into play like the old Oricorio, that would probably be a little bit better. But yeah, if the Smeargle is good, this will probably be good, and vice versa. Yeah, this is going to be a very situational card at best, I think. All right, so we have Flareon V. It's worth pointing out there's no VMAX in this set, but there is a VMAX in some promo box in Japan. So this thing will evolve. We do need to keep that in mind. But single strike Flareon V. 20, search your deck for a fire energy, attach it to this Pokemon. Okay, it's actually not a bad attack, to be honest. Then 120, your opponent's active is now burned. So yeah, not a great card, but yeah, this will probably only be played to evolve into Flareon Vmax. I'm not sure if Poke Beach has the Vmaxes in this page or not. Yeah, you can see it right here. We can check out the translations for it if they do have it somewhere else in this article. But yeah, so Flareon V on its own, not going to be a groundbreaking card. Okay, we have Macargo, looks pretty bad. We have Single Strike Entei, pretty sweet artwork, I do want to point out. So we have Fangs of Rage, 10 plus 10 for each damage counter on your bench Single Strike Pokemon. Now, it's actually not like a horrible attack, just because if you're playing some big chunky VMAXs like Urshifu or something, you know, they can tank a hit pretty well, and then, you know, they're fueling up your Entei pretty nicely. Now, the issue, of course, is this thing does require fire energy, so this means you will have to... That does definitely warp your options that you can play with this. You'll probably have to play like Flareon Vmax, just because single strike energy doesn't cover fire. So you need a deck that is by default already going to be playing fire energy, which could be an issue. Its other attack 120 does 30 to itself. Yeah, not great. Overall, Entei's not a super impressive card, but the first attack has like some degree of hope, maybe, depending if we get any good fire single strike Pokemon. Okay, we have a Rapid Strike Vaporeon V, and much like with Flareon, there is a Vaporeon Vmax, but it is not actually in Eevee Heroes here. So draw 3, 90, switch this to one of your benched Pokemon. Yeah, not too great. We'll have to check out Vaporeon. Let me actually just check really quick if they have the Eeveelutions. Okay, so they do have the Eeveelutions here. So we'll check these out at the end of this video here. But let's see, Vaporeon. Yeah, so this guy, not too good on its own. So taking a look at Azumarill, or is it Azumarill? 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 What do you guys think? I'm not sure. Let me know the correct pronunciation on this. Let's see. Okay, so... Okay. Marill actually has kind of a cool attack. And some nice artwork I'll point out. But yeah, it has the roll together attack. 20 times the number of Pokemon on your bench with the roll together attack. So maybe there's going to be some sort of archetype with this. Okay, very interesting. So this is the only card in the set with the roll together attack. They have to be coming out with more, otherwise this would be pretty bad. Oh, this might be round, actually. Like, it might translate to round. And if that's the case, there's probably other Pokemon format with the round attack. So we'll have to keep an eye on this. This could maybe be an indicator of some other card coming out down the road that could be good. Kind of like Mad Party or something. But yeah, let's take a look at Azumarill here, or Azumarill. See, Water Energy, choose 3 combination Pokemon and support cards from discard, put them into your hand. Okay, so this attack is actually kind of good for, specifically for control decks. This would not be an attack you'd play in any like attacking deck where you're trying to win via damage or in prizes. Just because we've seen how strong cards like a Rangaroo have been, being able to put cards back into your deck, or like Excadrill. So this definitely could be something. I think, however, if we're going to play a card like this, I think the Slurpuff that we're getting in Chilling Rain is just slightly better, though, just because you can get any cards. It's a coin flip, but I think the flexibility of being able to grab things like Crushing Hammers and stuff like that could outweigh the guaranteed 3 cards you get here. So, I mean, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled on this. Maybe I'll do something. Right now, I think I like Slurpuff a little bit better. Alright, so we have Swampert up next. 170 HP, so this is definitely one of the tankier Swamperts we've had up until this point. Once during your turn, you may attach a Water or Fighting Energy from hand to one of your Pokemon. And then Earthquake 180 does 20 to each of your bench Pokemon. This card, like, why would they do this? Like, we have Colossal in format, which is kind of the same thing, where it deals with accelerating these fighting energies and or a different one. And this is almost the same thing, but worse. Colossal lets you get 2 energies, and it's a stage 2. This only lets you get 1. And just to be clear, even if this was water and fighting, I still probably wouldn't be sold on this card. So just very interesting design choices they made when creating this card. Yeah, I mean... Yeah, this is just really perplexing. I mean, you're a stage 2. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask for just 2 energies to accelerate. So, and it's from hand. Colossal's a little bit better since it's from discard. So, yeah, I cannot say I'm a big fan of this Swampert. Kind of breaks my heart, too. Sorry, Swampert. So up next we have Milotic, which is a Rapid Strike Pokemon. So whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to you or your hand. Okay, so all these people out here who are sick and tired of Marnie and have been complaining about Marnie resetting their hand, here you go. I mean, am I gonna play a 1/1 Milotic in my deck? Probably not, guys. Like, I'm just gonna accept that Marnie is a card in the format and just live with it, you know? I can still win games, I'm sure you guys have too, even despite Marnie being in the format. So I mean, I think this is kind of cute in the same way the new Greedent is, where it's like a super hard counter to a very specific trainer card in format. But yeah, well, I almost said this is nice because it can stop reset stamp, but it's only supporters, which is really annoying. So yeah, if this was maybe any trainer card, maybe that would be nice, but I don't think this is good enough. The attack's also bad, so this is, I think, cute more than anything else. Alright, so next up we have Glaceon V and Vmax. Let's see this guy here. I do remember this attack, you get switch your deck for Glaceon Vmax and immediately evolve into it. So his first attack, definitely good, definitely like that. And then the Vmax here. You prevent all damage done to it by your opponent's Pokemon VMAX, excluding other Glaceon Vmax. So this is basically just Zamazenta's ability on a Vmax. So I don't know how much I like that, to be honest. I mean, because yeah, it's just not as good as being on a basic, even though Glaceon B does kind of help you get around that. So let's see its attack. The 150 does 30 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. So not too great. I mean, it's not a horrible attack by any means, guys, especially if you throw down like Telescopic Sight. You can go 150 and 60. Really not awful. We have a lot of ways of getting a card like this powered up. Yeah, I'm just not crazy about this. Like, I would still, I think, rather just play Inteleon. Just because Inteleon's kind of a disruptive card. It can remove energy. Also, its sniping attack is a little bit better as well. But I don't know. I mean, this is a more tanky version of Zamazenta, if nothing else. So maybe it sees play at some point. I don't know. I think Zamazenta just instinctively seems like it would be a little bit better. So yeah, not crazy about this. Though I do like the first attack on Glaceon B. Does at least help get this card set up better. Alright, so next up we have Electrode Single Strike. So Level Ball Surgical. I do want to point that out. 90 HP is definitely good if you're in Evolution. Let's see, Sonic Boom 40, and then Explosion 120 does 90 to itself. So, I mean, with the Single Strike energy, it's 140 for one. Not too bad, I do have to say. And it is worth pointing out, if you have a big charm on Electrode, you actually don't knock yourself out. So, that's really not that bad when you think about it in that context. 140 for one energy isn't too shabby. But, I mean, is there... Like, I don't think we're building around Electrode. Like, even though that's a good damage to energy ratio, it doesn't two-shot Vmaxes. And, I mean, I guess there's a bunch of single strike Pokemon now. Maybe you play this with something else. But, yeah, I think his second attack is okay, but maybe just not quite enough. So you have Jolteon V, of course, guys, another one that does have a Vmax. We'll take a look at in a little bit. See, Jolt Arrow 20 to one of your opponent's Pokemon, and then Pin Missile. Yeah, nothing too special, but it does have free retreat, so I do like that about Jolteon. Again, the VMAX is definitely going to be the more important card of the two. Okay, we have Rotom. Okay, discard all Pokemon tool cards attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So this wouldn't be an awful attack if we were in maybe a format that didn't have Tool Scrapper or Liepard V. But yeah, this is probably just not good enough, to be honest. I mean, maybe if there's ever some sort of item lock deck that pops up that is very reliant on tool cards, maybe Rotom's your way of dealing with that. I'm not sure, but yeah, this isn't not a particularly great card. So we have Electros. Very interesting artwork. I actually don't recognize this artist. I'm not sure if they're new to the cards, but very unique art style on this guy. So Electros here, historically a bad Pokemon in the TCG. So let's see what this guy can do. 40, if this guy evolved from Electric this turn, they're paralyzed. Ugh, that's bad. And then 160 does 30 to itself. Yeah, complete trash. Unfortunately, I actually like Electros as a Pokemon too, so it's like kind of unfortunate this card, or this Pokemon never gets any love in the TCG. Alright, so you have Espeon V. Again, another Pokemon with a VMAX. We'll take a look at. Mind Shot 60 to your opponent's Pokemon V. Not a horrible attack. Again, we'll take a look at the VMAX towards the end of this, but this first attack, not awful if we have to use it. Alrighty, so it looks like we have a Rapid Strike Florges, which, gotta say, looks pretty sweet. Love this artwork on this thing. I don't know if it's the fact that this is, you know, Florges is finally getting like psychic representation in the TCG or what, but I just love the way this card looks. Hopefully it's pretty decent. So, as many times as you would like during your turn, you may move an energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Rapid Strike Pokemon. Then 110 and Confusion. Okay, so, I mean, we've actually seen Stage 2 Pokemon with these abilities do well in the past, but I don't think this is that great by today's standards. I mean, even think of something like Weavile GX, which is just a Stage 1. hasn't really seen breakout success up until this point, let alone being a stage 2 card limited to Rapid Strike Pokemon. Yeah, that's a little bit... Yeah, that's a little bit sketchy. I'm not sure how much I like this. Now, I will say this. The one thing you can do with this is, like, Cheryl shenanigans. Like, let's say you're playing, you know, Rapid Strike Urshifu Vmax, or, well, probably a Rapid Strike Pokemon that doesn't discard its own energy. So, I don't know. Let's take the Rapid Strike Sylveon that's, like, right below here. If we want to tank, maybe we can move our energy from Sylveon to Florges, use Cheryl, move it back, keep attacking. So that's definitely an option for us to do, guys. But yeah, I just think that the fact that it's a stage 2 limited to only Rapid Strike Pokemon, probably going to just push this thing out of range of being competitive. So up next we have a Rapid Strike Sylveon V. I do vaguely remember this card getting revealed a little bit ago. But it says, once during your turn, you may search your deck for an item card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. If you use this ability, your turn ends. Okay, this ability was almost insane until we got to the end of this. But I mean, that's still fine. Like, going first, this is kind of like a pseudo Intrepid Sword. You know, let's say your hand's dead, you can search your deck for a Quick Ball to get a Dedenne for the next turn or something like that. So yeah, this is definitely a perfectly fine, serviceable little... you know, first turn ability while you're waiting to get set up. So yeah, this is still a good pre-evolution. So question is Sylveon Vmax any good? All right. So again, Rapid Strike Pokemon here has an attack. Attach energy from hand to one of your Pokemon, then heal 120 from that Pokemon. Not too crazy about that, but Max Harmony, 70 plus 30 more for each type of Pokemon on your bench. Okay, let's see, we can have 5 Pokemon on the bench, so we're hitting 220, right? Which isn't awful. Being colorless energy is also nice. That means we can use Rapid Strike energy to get this guy powered up a little bit quicker. I forget what the card does, but there is a Kecleon we're getting in Chilling Reign that does, I think it's coming out in Chilling Reign, I forget, but it does something where it can manipulate its typing, where it can have multiple typings, I think, for each energy on it. So that actually could be a way to increase your damage a little bit, because let's see, we have grass, fire, water, psychic, lightning, fighting, dark, metal, and fairy energy. So we still have dragon typing as well. So actually, you know, Kecleon actually might be able to make this card kind of good. I mean, you need a lot of weird energy acceleration to make that happen, though. But that definitely has potential. This card seems okay. Again, after this video, I'm gonna have to look into Kecleon. I forget exactly how the card works, but that could be a way at cheating additional types of Pokemon in play. So it's an okay card. It's kind of neat. I know there are some tool cards for each of the Eeveelutions as well, so we'll have to check those. That might sort of make me rethink my stance on this, but it seems like an okay card. So we have Palisand, 120, or Sand Pressure. If your opponent's active as a basic, it is knocked out. Why is this 4 energy? You know, we had Machamp from like over a decade ago have this same attack for a single energy. Right? I'm pretty sure Takeout was a single energy. So the fact that this needs 4 energy is stupid. We're never using this. I love this attack, just not its energy cost. So gonna pass. Alright guys, next up we have Umbreon Vmax. Definitely I think one of the best cards in this set. This is one of the earlier reveals. But let's check out Umbreon V first. This artwork actually reminds me of another Umbreon that we had. I'm trying to remember what set it was from, but I'm pretty sure I remember us getting an Umbreon with this almost exact same pose. If you guys remember it, sound off in the comment section. But I know there was one that looked very similar to this. But mean look 30, they can't retreat. Every deck plays 4 switch, so not too good. And then 80 plus 80 more if it has any damage counters on it. So this attack actually really not too bad. Because if we're a single strike deck and actually trying to attack with single strike Pokemon, we're going to be playing Houndoom. And Houndoom can easily get this set up. So let's see if we have 2 single strike energies. That's what, 160, 200. So yeah, there's definitely worse attacks on pre-evolution Pokemon Vs. So okay, little card. But yeah, Umbreon Vmax definitely going to be the better of the two. So once during your turn, whenever you evolve into this guy, you can switch your opponent's active with one of their bench Pokemon. Yeah, this is basically just Lycanroc GX or, you know, Luxray level X from back in the day. Overall, amazing ability. I mean, Lycanroc just saw an immense amount of play for the longest time because of this. And I mean, this is a good bench sitter for Eternatus. So, I mean, I feel like you're just obviously playing this in Eternatus, or seemingly so, I should say. Yeah, I don't think we're ever really attacking with Umbreon. It hits for 160, which you can increase, I will say, with Houndoom. But yeah, 160 is really nothing to want to build your whole deck around, at least. No, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, just because you could win by just knocking out the Denes. Like, just play this, Houndoom, and Echoing Horns, and just keep evolving, bring up the Dene, knock them out, horn them back onto the bench, then do the same thing over and over. So, like, maybe there's actually a world where you do something like that. I don't know. That seems a little bit gimmicky, but kind of cool, though. Curious to see what other decks are going to be playing this. Eternatus definitely seems like the big one, though. All right, so we have a new Zoroark. I do remember people talking about this on Twitter, and I think people were actually slightly overhyping this card. But Zoroark has this ability, which is kind of cool. You search your discard pile for a stage 1 evolution, excluding any Zoroark. Discard this Pokemon, all cards attached to it, then put the new Pokemon in this one's position. So this card very much so reminds me of the Boundaries Cross Ditto, or even kind of like Ditto Prism Star. I feel like this serves a very similar role. That being said, this is not nearly as splashable as something like Ditto Prism Star. Like a lot of times, Ditto was great just to serve as your 5th basic of a Pokemon in your deck, and that was really all you wanted out of this. Zoroark fills the same sort of role, but you have to commit a stage 1 line to this now, which feels a little bit worse. But one of the plus sides to this is that it's not a Prism Star, so that means you can play up to 4 copies if you want to in your deck. So if there is a stage 1 out there that you want to go all in on, you can maybe play this instead of heavy counts of Ordinary Rod or something like that. So I think that's, you know, that might make some sense. I think in standard, I mean, even in expanded as well, the new Lycanroc could like something like this, just because you want Pokemon in the discard pile. This could be good in a deck like that, or like Vespiquen in expanded, where you have, you know, more damage for every Pokemon in your discard. So instead of playing maybe like, you know, counts of Rescue Stretcher and stuff like that, you just play this Zoroark instead. Hard to say. I think this card has potential, but I think people should just mildly temper their expectations from what I've been seeing online, at least. But from there we have Grimmsnarl, which is a single strike evolution line. Nothing too special about the basic forms, but let's take a look at this guy here. So bite is 60, and then rear guard tackle 100. If you have 2 or less bench Pokemon, this does 140 more damage. Ooh. Okay, now that's actually kind of an impressive attack. I mean, 240 isn't anything to scoff at. If you have 2 single strike energies, that's 280. That's really not too bad. Now, how are you getting this thing set up with only 2 benched Pokemon in play? That's kind of the next question, because you probably want a card like Houndoom in play to accelerate your single strike energies and all that good stuff. So, and you also need your next Impidimp in play, or your next Grimmsnarl in play on the bench as well. So you can like basically never have anything more than 1 Houndoom, 1 backup Grimmsnarl, and that's it. So this probably isn't too good. Maybe if this was like 3 bench Pokemon we can talk, but with only 2, that's pretty rough. All right, so up next we have this Smeargle I mentioned earlier here. And like I said, if I remember right, this should tie into the Eldegoss card we already took a look at. But yeah, I really do like the artwork here. The, you know, the nice pretty grass ties into like the green here on Smeargle's tail. So I do like the way this card looks, absolutely. But yeah, just 1 attack here. 30, reveal any number of basic energy cards in your hand, then does 30 more for each type of energy revealed in this way. So let's see, I'm pretty sure we have 8 basic energies right now, right? Grass, fire, water, electric, psychic, fighting, dark, metal, fairy? So 9? Okay, 9 times 3, 270, right? 300 with the 30 base damage. Honestly, not terrible. Now, the issue a card like this has, of course, is a card like Marnie. Like, let's say you do magically set up your whole hand here, and you get your whole hand of like 9 energy, and then your opponent's just like, that's nice, Marnie, or reset stamp. So that can mess you up. But, I mean, if you're playing the Eldegoss, you can already sort of like get around that as it is. So maybe this is actually kind of a decent little one prize deck. You know, we have twin energy still. You would need another type of energy to chain these more than likely. Maybe Cocoa Prism, if that's still around by the time this card comes out. Maybe that's what you'd play, just Cocoa Prism and some lightning energies. I'm not sure. I actually kind of like this little combo. This will definitely be you know, kind of a meme deck in the style of Mad Party and, you know, all those other ones. Not sure how competitive it's going to be just yet, but I definitely want to experiment with this. So getting into our trainer cards, we have Vigor Shake. This is a card I was trying to abstain from seeing the spoilers for the set, but people on Twitter were raging about this card, and I got a little bit spoiled. When you use this card, your turn ends, you search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon, put it onto that Pokemon to evolve it, then shuffle your deck, and you can use this card during your first turn or on a Pokemon that was put into play this turn. So yeah, this is kind of like Wally as an item card, but of course the big downside is it ends your turn. So I'm not sure what to think about this card. There's already been a couple of combos people have figured out with things like Dusknoir. You can get a turn 1 Dusknoir since we still have the Cosmic Eclipse Duskull that can immediately evolve into Duskull already. So you can do that, play this, turn 1 special energy lock before your opponent even gets to play a single card, which is pretty nuts, honestly. Now the big downside to this card, however, is the fact that you know, you basically have to play 4 copies of these if you want to find them on turn 1, because that's really the turn you want to do this, unless you're playing maybe like a greens engine or something like that, because then in theory you could go second, turn 1 greens, grab your Vigor Shake, start evolving, all that good stuff. The next question is, outside of just like degenerate locking combos that might come of this, is there any reason to play this? Like, is this going to be a general consistency booster for our evolution decks? I don't think so. Like, this is not a replacement for the old rare candy where you could evolve turn 1 that you put a Pokemon play or anything like that. This is not as good as that. But that being said, I mean, I think people will figure out some dumb combos with this card, and yeah, it's going to be really annoying. So typically I would usually be really excited for new evolution enabling cards coming out, but this is definitely not gonna help stage 2 decks or anything like that. So yeah, I'm not actually sure how I feel about this card right now, but I think it will definitely, should I say it will definitely see play. I definitely think this has the potential to be a really oppressive card depending on what gets printed during this card's lifespan. So from there we have Dream Ball. This is a card I'm somewhat familiar with already, but you can play this card only if you took it as a face down prize card before you put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck for a Pokemon, put it on your bench. Yeah, not a big fan of this thing at all. The big issue is you can't just throw these in your deck like any normal deck. You need a deck that's built around manipulating your prize cards. So of course we do have Peonia coming out in Chilling Reign that can do some prize card manipulation and stuff like that. So that's one way you can maybe try to pull this off. Quick Ball is just better, like almost every time. So yeah, I think Dream Ball is really, really weak. Unless we get some really good engine that comes out that allows you to manipulate your prize cards, I don't think there's a world where we're ever playing this over just playing additional copies of other search cards like Level Ball or more Quick Balls, etc. Alright, so now we're going to get into some of the new tool cards for the Eeveelutions. So this is Elemental Badge. Let's see, the Pokemon... Okay, if the Pokemon this card is attached to has Vaporeon V, Jolteon V, or Flareon B in its name, it pays 1 less to use its attacks. And it is worth pointing out that does include VMAXs, so we have to look at the new VMAXs and keep this card in mind for sure. But that's definitely really good. Let's take a look really quick, actually. Okay, so Vaporeon has a 1 attack cost. Jolteon has a 2 attack cost. So this actually really could be good for Jolteon, allowing you to attack for just a single attachment. So I do like that. We'll definitely revisit these in a minute, but this tool card is definitely really good in the context of the Eeveelutions. But it's really only as good as the quality of Eeveelutions that we have here. Let's take a look at the Snowleaf badge. Of course, this is going to help out Glaceon V and Vmax and Leafeon V and Vmax, but that Pokemon has no retreat cost or weakness. And that is actually pretty good just because I think Glaceon and Leafeon both have pretty bad weaknesses. Glaceon, of course, is going to be weak to metal. And, you know, being weak to metal, not so good just because Glaceon's ability is going to wall against Vmax's. But we have 2 prized Pokemon, most notably Zacian V, that can still attack into you. So this actually is kind of good for Glaceon. Same thing for Leafeon. Fire's very popular, so this could help that out slightly. But yeah, it is kind of a reactive passive tool card. So there's a world where you throw this down and it just gets tool scrappered anyways, or Liparted out of play or something like that. I mean, they are good weaknesses to eliminate, but not groundbreaking by any means. So we have Sun and Moon badge, of course, for Espeon and Umbreon. When your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. Now, that's really good. That's a really good effect, guys, because we can, if we want to, we could potentially hide behind Lily's Pokédoll or Altaria or something like that while we get set up, and basically give our Espeons and Umbreons Omega Barrier from like the old Primal Groudon. So that's a really good tool card effect, I'm not going to lie. So, definitely curious to see what Espeon Vmax does. I know we have that in this, you know, a little bit further below. We will take a look at that. But this is probably my favorite of the tool cards so far. And of course, we have the ribbon badge for Sylveon. So when it's knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, your opponent takes 1 less prize card. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good, I suppose. I mean, some of these cards like Island Challenge Amulet haven't really done a whole lot up until now. Like, Island Challenge Amulet basically only saw play as like a way of cheating a weird broken combo in Expanded, not to actually genuinely try to tank and you know, like drag the game out longer or anything like that. So I'm not actually sure how good this winds up being. So not giving up an additional prize is definitely a good effect, but I'm not sure what a theoretical Sylveon Vmax deck is going to look like just yet. So I'm not sure if this is actually going to be our ideal tool card in that deck anyways. So yeah, still, I think Moon and Sun badge, probably my favorite of the evolution tools. Let's see, we have Aroma Lady. Draw 2 cards and your active recovers from all special conditions. Not good whatsoever. This is straight up binder fodder. So we have Gordy. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose as many energy as you find there. Reveal them. Put them into your hand. Okay, so this is another card for the Smeargle deck, I guess, in theory. So seems okay for that, I guess. But if you're playing Eldegoss, more than likely, guys, that's going to be enough. You really don't want to use your supporter on a card like this. So I think if we were going to play something like this, I think we'd be more inclined to play like Clara or something from Chilling Reign. Could be wrong, but yeah, I think we're just going to stick with Eldegosses and play better supporters on our turn. All right, so we have Fashion Mall. Stadium card. Once during each player's turn, that player may choose a Pokemon tool attached to one of their Pokemon and play it, return it to their hand. Okay, so this is an all right stadium. I mean, we've seen cards like this do okay, like the Magearna from Ultra Prism, or is it Forbidden Light? I forget which set. But yeah, that Magearna, probably one of the better cards like that we've seen in recent history. I just really don't know what tool cards we are itching to get back into our hand though. Like, the only world I can see a card really wanting something like this is like if we got like a Garbotox and Garbodor reprint or something. This would be in theory a cool card because you could get your own tool card back and remove your ability lock on your turn. So that would be a cool use, but yeah, I mean, we're playing hypotheticals here. I don't think this card is too impactful. I think a lot of times just playing Tool Scrapper is going to be better because Tool Scrapper, you can discard your own tool cards if you need to. And also, there's just a lot of much better stadiums we could be playing. So, not a big fan of this one either. Trainer cards looking to be pretty weak in this set. And to round out our set, we have the Treasure Energy. So as long as this card is attached to Pokemon, provides colorless energy, of course. And if you took this card as a face-down prize card during your turn, before you put it into your hand, you may attach this card to one of your Pokemon. So yeah, this is definitely a really weak card, like the Dream Ball. I do think this is a little bit better, just because in the case of Dream Ball, I mean, there's other cards that already kind of do the same thing. But in the case of Treasure Energy, getting an extra attachment is a little bit more substantial. So, I mean, guys, again, if we get some sort of engine that really easily allows you to manipulate your prize cards, maybe we can talk about Treasure Energy. But for the moment, guys, I think there's much better, like, singular colorless energies we could be playing, whether it's Weakness Guard Energy, you know, Draw Energy, Capture Energy, etc. I think this one is going to be pretty weak most of the time. So that's going to be it for the main set. But like I said, we do still have some other Eeveelution Vmaxes to take a look at that are going to be released in like promo boxes in Japan. So yeah, let's see what we have here. All right, so remember, in the case of Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, we do have a tool card that does reduce their attack cost as well. So Flareon, let's see. Again, single strike Pokemon, discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Does 100 times the amount of energy discarded in this way. I mean, we have to be playing a lot of energy, and probably a Ranguru as well to stack at least 1 energy. So we need 4 of the 5 to be energy to knock out Vmaxes, which is a tall order to ask for. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Yeah, this feels very, very weak to me. Because if we want to play this, we have to like not play much of anything else. Like maybe we play Houndooms with this, but even still, that's like, you know, 8 deck spots or something. I guess actually if we're playing single strike energy, we only need to discard 3 energy because of the damage modifier from that. So that's something. I'm just wondering, how are we getting Flareon accelerated energy 2? If we're already playing a ton of fire energy, we could just play Welder and just call it a day, like 4 Welder, 4 greens, and just kind of roll with that. But again, that doesn't really help us get our single strike energies as much. I mean, this thing hits like a truck. I think this would be a deck building challenge to figure out. So I'm probably going to pass on this, especially that like the tool card really doesn't even have much synergy with this, because instead of reducing your energy cost, you'd probably actually prefer just more physical energy in deck. That way you can more reliably do damage. So yeah, this card's very awkward, but it has the potential to hit insanely hard. All right, so we do have Vaporeon Vmax, which is going to be a rapid strike card. And actually this could be even one of the, I could see the whatever the badge is for this thing that reduces its attack cost. I could see that being relevant, because you could actually go badge rapid strike energy and basically just attack for 1 attachment for its second attack. So that actually doesn't seem horrible. But let's see what it does. Choose a water Pokemon from discard pile, put it onto your bench, then attach 3 water energy from your discard to that Pokemon. Okay, that's actually like not the worst thing ever. My issue with this attack is that it's on a Vmax though. This is really the type of attack you would want to do turn 1 of the game, because on turn 2, that's when you want to start attacking and get set up. Because turn 2 of the game, that's really when you want to start attacking. You don't really want to be still trying to set up with a 3 prize Pokemon like this. So even though in a vacuum, I think this attack, the effect of it is pretty good, because you can even cheat stage 2s if you want to. I think this just seems really slow. That's my gripe. But its second attack, 100. If the defending Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, does 100 more damage. So yeah, I'm not too stoked on this. I mean, a flat 200 is fine. Effectively, there's not a whole lot of difference between 200 and 170, because 170 is really the magic number you need. So yeah, I think Vaporeon is kind of weak. Maybe there'll be some broken combo with Bubble Pod here, but yeah, this is not one of my favorites from the set by any means. All right, so we have Jolteon Bmax. Like I said, this guy can attack for a single energy though with the new badge tool card. Yeah, 300 HP, free retreat, really good. Really do like that. Let's see, Max Thunderclap 100. This does 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. Okay, now this attack actually really isn't that bad. Especially, well, I was going to say because we could go Telescopic Sight and do more damage, but if we're playing Telescopic Sight, that means we're not playing the badge card to reduce our attack cost. So that suddenly makes this feel a little bit worse. Okay. Don't like that. Now, Jolteon is actually, like, it might still be okay to play Telescopic Sight because depending on when this releases, we might still have Cocoa Prism in the format for a brief period of time. So that could help it get set up a little bit quicker and still be allowed to use Telescopic Sight. Fighting Weakness also is going to be bad too, just because Urshifu is still a really solid card. So yeah, I'm not too blown away by this. Like, not being able to play your Eeveelution tool and your Telescopic Sight is the big thing that sort of sets this card back for me. And from there, we have Espeon Vmax. It's going to be the last card we are going to look at here today. Let's see, an ability, as long as this Pokemon is in play, each of your Pokemon that has energy isn't affected by effects of the attacks of your opponent's Pokemon. So, I mean, this is actually very similar to the Espeon back from Dark Explorers. This actually might even be verbatim the same attack. Now, I do have a gripe that this is limited only to Pokemon that have energy attached. Okay ability, nothing great though. And then 60 times the amount of energy when your opponent's active. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's all of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, 60 times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So yeah, if that's not a mistranslation, that's a little bit better. So 3 energy, that's going to be 180. I mean, yeah, they are going to need a good bit of energy to actually stack this up to do a substantial amount of damage. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. I don't think you're ever building around this card. I think this would maybe just be like a 1/1 in like your Calyrex deck or something like that. If at all. So, alrighty guys, and that's going to be it for our look at Eevee Heroes today. As you can see, I don't think there's a whole lot to really get excited about here. I think there's 1 or 2 decent cards, but most of this is, I think, more so geared towards collectors who are just hungry for some Eeveelution Vmaxes. You know, which is fine. That actually makes it easier on me. That's less cards I have to buy, you know? So, yeah, I'm also just curious kind of when we're going to get these cards as well. They could be in our August set. They could very well be in another mini set later in the year. It kind of just remains to be seen. And that also, as a result, kind of makes it hard to gauge how good these cards are going to be, just because we don't know if stuff's going to be rotated by the time they come out. I think probably the best card in the set in terms of Pokemon is going to be Umbreon Vmax. This ability is insane. Really do like this card a lot. This is probably going to be the big chase card just because not only is Umbreon highly collectible, but it's also playable. So yeah, that's good. Zoroark has potential. I think the Smeargle deck has potential. Vigor Shake is going to be a very annoying card. I sense that at some point. Yeah, Glaceon could be decent at some point. But yeah, overall, not the best that we've had in a while, but I'm definitely curious what you guys are thinking. Definitely sound off down below in the comment section. What is going to be your favorite card from this set? What's your favorite Eeveelution from the set even? Definitely curious what you guys are thinking about this. But that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. Of course, if you did enjoy today's content, smack that like button, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. That way you'll be up to date whenever my next video drops. And if you want to go the extra step, you can also become a patron at patreon.com/rarecandytcg or pick up some merch over at rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.